Just be positive, which might be the mental states you want to achieve, but it's not the how to. In fact, this fluffy, cookie cutter advice often makes things worse. Instead, what you need to do is challenge the status quo and think differently about success and failure. That's why I wrote the best-selling book, Mindset First, to provide athletes like you a repeat and reliable way to win the mental game. I share the concise and practical strategies I use to help professional athletes be at their best day in and day out. This book will help you break free from the weight of results so you can stop spending so much time in your own head and start playing with confidence so you can perform when it matters most. And most importantly, I promise you this, by reading this book and working on your mental game, you're going to have a heck of a lot more fun along the way.
8 bienvenue to you from day 2 of the 2026 Continental Clash here on the World Sports Broadcast Network. As we say, good morning, everyone. Thomas Mercier, glad to be here with you to take in the first game of our day 2 coverage here at the Continental Clash in Montreal. And today's kickoff game should be a real good one as the Minnesota Machine take on the Quebec Hockey Club. Minnesota comes into this morning with a 2-0 record. They were victorious in their games yesterday, beating Manitoba by a score of 4-2, and then knocked off Atlantic Apex, allowing 2 goals and scoring 6 times. So they have 10 goals for and only 4 against in 2 games of play. While on the Quebec side of things, the tournament didn't get off to the best of starts for them as they took on the East Coast Kings to kick off competition. They would lose that game 4-1, but then would bounce back nicely against the Battery Hockey Academy with a nice 6-3 win. And as we look at the standings coming into today's action, leading the way at the top, Everest Elite, no surprise here. They have been by far the best team so far in this tournament. As you look at their goal differential, a plus 14. That's right, 6 goals for and only 2 allowed. Everest is leading the way in every single department, while Minnesota comes into today's game third in the standings with that 2-0 record, 10 goals for and 4 against. While on the Quebec side of things, they're running at about an even pace, as I mentioned, a 1-1 record, and currently 7 goals for, 7 against, but leading the way in terms of penalty minutes with 34 PIMs so far in 2 games of play. So if Quebec wants any success in this contest, they cannot afford to take too many penalties. That was unfortunately their doing in game 1, which led to them ultimately losing to East Coast. We got a great schedule on tap here today. After this game, the East Coast Kings, speaking of which, will take on the Manitoba All-Stars, who had a good start to the tournament despite losing their first game, bounced back with a nice and sizable win over Tordon Hockey from Sweden. And then later on, Marcus and Mike will take you through the action later on today up until about 2 o'clock, which will feature some good contests between the Boston Hockey Club and First Class Alberta, and then Styhouse and the Montreal Kings Academy. Then at 2 o'clock today, the Quebec Hockey Club right back at it. They will take on those Sweets from Sweden. They'll take on Tordon at 2 o'clock. Then at 3:30, Manitoba loves playing on this rink. The 4th time in 4 games we will see the Manitoba All-Stars. They will take on the Battery Hockey Club at 3:30. Then at 5 o'clock today, our first look at First Class Alberta. They will take on the Connecticut Junior Rangers. And then to close out Day 2's action today, the Montreal Kings Academy will take on the Finnish Selects hockey team, which should be a real dandy of a contest to close out our Day 2 coverage. Warm-ups just wrapping up here at the rink number 1 in beautiful Montreal. A nice day walking in, expecting some rain today, but luckily we are inside to take in this one, so that is always a good sign. We are almost set to go as both teams, as I mentioned, completing their warm-ups. Minnesota in their signature orange and black will serve as the home team for today, while the Quebec Hockey Club will serve as the visiting team. They are wearing their dark blue with white stripe. Another good crowd on hand today. Plenty of support from Minnesota, of course, making the trip up. And the Quebec Hockey Club, even though they're the road team in this game today, they are dealing with home ice advantage being from their home province. We'll see if Quebec can bounce back with a nice win today and look to make it 2 in a row to kick off this morning's action. Let's go! Today's starting goaltenders for Minnesota. Looks like we will get another taste of Tanner Brick, who was pulled in yesterday's action, and Asa Jolstad-Volk came in and shut the door for the Minnesota Machine. While on the Quebec side of things, it looks like they are going to turn once again to Sheldon Lonval. Both teams line up for the opening face-off. We are about ready to go as day 2 of the Continental Clash is underway from Montreal. Minnesota starts with the puck. They'll bring it up the side, and already a quality first chance for Minnesota. But that shot just goes wide of the net. That looked like might have been Harrison Guff with the opportunity. Around the boards it comes for Quebec. They'll look to break it out now. Pass comes to center. This is Victor Pellin playing it ahead. Was looking for, it looked like Aniceto Riccio, but that's out of reach. And dumped into the zone by Minnesota. Already 40 seconds in, and Minnesota almost had the first shot on goal. They might have a chance out here. It's a turnover behind the net. They score! What a start for the Machine. 45 seconds in. And they get the important first goal. It's Charles Kelly who opens the scoring, and the Machine are off and running. Exactly the starter that Minnesota hoped for, and here they come again right off the hop. It's Charles Kelly again. Again he shoots, another save by Lonval, and the rebound scooped up by the Machine. Point shot coming, that one denied by Lonval, the rebound, and Lonval gets there too, and will hold on. A much needed couple of saves for Sheldon Lonval. A special hello to all those tuning in from Minnesota and right here in Quebec. Glad to have you along with us. Thomas Mercier, glad to bring you the action for our day 2 coverage at the Continental Clash in beautiful Montreal, Quebec. At the line, dumped in deeper by defender Louis Sweeney, who looks sharp in his first pair of games for the Machine. To the right side, Zach Silva. Getting it down in the corner, around the back of the net goes Guff. Guff back to the line, Sweeney. Sweeney back to Guff near side. Tied up on the boards, comes dangerously in front, but Quebec will clear this, and they will get it up to center. Here's Leo Peltier. Peltier into the zone, he comes. And this is going to be cycled back, and now a turnover. Sweeney almost had a partial breakaway, but a nice breakup play by Ethan Lockhart. Get there and keep a goal off the board for the time being. Now played back up by Quebec. Louis Sweeney back to race after it for Minnesota. 2 minutes gone in the first period, and the Machine get the first goal of the game, courtesy of Charles Kelly. Down into the corner again. Decker Benjamin around the back of the net. Benjamin looking out in front. Beautiful pass. The shot coming from Teddy Becker, but didn't get all of that one. Deep down in the corner, it's Becker again. Becker around the back of the net. This one's going to be broken up nicely by Blake Lobb. To the line, held in, long range shot. Knocked down out of midair. Quebec looking desperately to clear it out here as Minnesota is hemming them in their zone. Decker Benjamin lost the handle on it for Minnesota. Back to the line. Good play by Braden Liu to hold it in. Around the back of the net. Played off the boards but not out. Held in nicely by Ryan Renner, who's now lost possession. And now here's Quebec on an opportunity. It's Ali Spartai. His backhand shot just missing. Great scoring opportunity for Quebec, but unfortunately their first shot of the game will have to wait a little while longer. 3 minutes gone in the first. Minnesota continues to protect that 1-0 lead. Karen pass off the boards, right on the money for Charles Kelly again. Centering feed on the backhand. Maverick White with a good opportunity, and Lonval having to make a couple saves in tight. Another chance for White, nicely played away there by Aniceto Riccio. Quebec, again, trying desperately to get it out. They turn it over. Ryan Renner around the back of the net, played it back to the line. Steger Patton with a shot deflected on goal, and a good stop made there by the netminder, Sheldon Lonval. 11:24 remains in period one. If you're just joining us, a 1-0 lead for the Machine, courtesy of Charles Kelly's opening minute marker. Speaking of which, here he is with the puck now. Throw it in across, walking in and firing is Eli Hellquist. Saved by Lonval. The rebound still loose in front, and Quebec will move it out. Aniceto Riccio across the line. He comes 1-on-3 right now, getting a little bit of help from Victor Pelland. On the back of the net is Minnesota. Played through the middle, picked up by Charles Kelly. Kelly's in, takes a shot deflected off the stick and wide. Puck is up for grabs in open ice. As Minnesota again trying to get reset here. Flipped high to center. This will be knocked down by Zach Silva at about knee height. Brought in now by Minnesota yet again. Zach Silva gets it over to the blue line for Ryan Renner. He'll play that one in deep. Minnesota trying to keep it in the O-zone right now, and they do. Here's Zach Silva. Nice feed for Harrison. Guthrie walks in. Guth with a shot. Long ball the save, and whacks the rebound away from danger. Flipped high to center. Foot race for the puck. Raphael LeBlanc in a foot race with Louis Sweeney, who makes a break back check of his own. Third of the way through the period. Quebec trying to get set up, still looking for their first shot of the contest. Here's Minnesota again. Harrison Guth trips over the blue line and will turn it over as making a good play there is Ethan Lockhart. Ahead now to Soyo Igarashi. Igarashi's shot just missing the net wide. Back to the blue line. It's Nicolas Vinas with a shot. That one also blocked by Minnesota. And here they come again. This is a backhand try at the side of the goal. That looked like it was Easton Silva. That one went off the side of the net. 9:10 to go in the first period. Here's a potential opportunity for Soyo Igarashi, but the pass missed. And icing called against Quebec. 9:05 to go in the first, still 1-0 Minnesota. Great pace to start the game here. As both teams taking in their first games of day two. Minnesota undefeated 2-0, looking to be 3-0 to start off the morning. While Quebec looking to get above 500. There's a long range shot at a good save made by Lonval. Faceoff will come back to his right. And the faceoff is won by Quebec, but a quick shot right off the draw by Minnesota, and Lonval turns that one away as well. Faceoff to Lonval's right. This time controlled by Quebec. Takes a wild hop off the glass, and it's played to center by Blake Lab. Thrown around the boards here by the Machine as they try to get reset in the O-zone. Back to the line, held in nicely by Braden Liu. He'll let it go. Whacked in front. That was Maverick White, but couldn't get it on goal. Looking to reset Charles Kelly, the opening goal scorer. Back to the line, it comes Lonval. Lost his stick. The shot comes and it's deflected wide. And then Lonval takes a swipe to the back of the head of Charles Kelly. Now the other way comes Quebec. Lonval finally gets his stick. Quebec on the counterattack. First shot of the game. And no difficulty there for Tanner Brick, who will hold on to that one for a face-off. It'll be to his left with 8:11 to go in period number 1. Jaden Mousset to take the draw here for Quebec. He's able to win it. He has a shooting chance. He does. Brick with a good stop there. Back to the blue line, moved up by Zach Silva. Silva weaving through the defense, creating some room. Silva, one move too many as Diego Flores breaks that one up. Following his knees is Zach Silva, and now another defender's falling down, and here comes Quebec the other way. Across the line they come, but a miscommunication at the blue line, and Quebec is offside. That was one of the best chances for Quebec to get something set up in this game, but unfortunately the miscommunication at the blue line led to them being offside. As Minnesota still holding on to that 1-0 advantage. Here in the opening moments of day 2. Here's a shot on goal. On ball, the save with the stick, and he dropped it in the process. Second time he's lost his stick, and Minnesota will look to take advantage. Mason Thane, who was strong yesterday. Here's Soya Igarashi on a breakaway. Denied by Brick. Read that one like a book. Soya Igarashi tried to catch him out of position, but Brick was ready. And a healthy slash there, but here comes Minnesota the other way. And Lonval got a stick on that. Shot by Mason Thane. Around the back of the net, passed out in front. Here's Leo Pelche the other way for Quebec. Pelche across the line. Less than 7 to go in the opening period. Still 1-0 Minnesota. Here they come again. Through the middle, Decker Benjamin winds up, fires, glove save by Lonval. .641 left in the first period, still 1-0 Minnesota for those just joining us. Charles Kelly, the lone goal scorer so far in the contest. Face-off won by Minnesota, and it's played into the corner for Teddy Becker, Put off the boards, control now by Seeger Patton. Patton for Becker. Becker brings it in for the machine. Becker trying to weave towards the net, poked away by Lonval. The rebound on the backhand, trying to throw that one on goal. And now another chance, Lonval the save there. And Lonval with a healthy slash to the leg of one of the Minnesota players, but a penalty is coming in the corner, and it's going to be a slashing call. And it's going to be against Minnesota. And the first power play of the game upcoming, as looks like it was Easton Silva that took the penalty. And the first power play of the game will go to Quebec with a chance to tie this one up. They go to work. Quick shot off the draw. Lockhart in front, backhander. Great save by Brick. And cleared back out by Minnesota. Lonval way out of his net. Look out, he almost put it in his own net. Lonval with a bit of a near misplay as he risked coming out of his net to play, and then he almost scored on himself. Already a quarter of the way through the power play. Quebec has had a couple scoring chances, but one of those scoring chances was on their own goal. Lonval gets it as far as the blue line in his own end. And Minnesota will look to get reset on this penalty kill. Played up for Charles Kelly. Puck bouncing off of everybody. Kamatos turned it over. Here comes Maverick White. Centering pass for Kelly. That's just out of his reach. Halfway through the Quebec power play now, the first of the game. Thrown across the rink, and it's picked up by Seeger Patton. Lots of time. He'll elect to throw it across for Hellquist, and will be cleared down the ice with a little bit of help from Charles Kelly. 40 seconds left in the power play for Quebec. But right now, the power play has not been able to get set up. Minnesota's doing a great job of cycling the puck. Thrown across by Renner. Up the side wall as, again, Minnesota just eating the clock here. Long ball out of his net. Played up the wing, and Quebec looking to enter the zone. Brought up the wing as Jaden Mousset lost the puck. 10 seconds left in the power play. Brought up the ice now by Minnesota. It's Mace Wedderbrand with a couple of nice moves. Wedderbrand unable to take a shot, and Quebec's power play goes quiet. They are 0 for 1 in that department, and we're back to even strength with 4 minutes left in period 1. Shot towards the goal. That one kicked away by Lonval. Sent up the wing, but nicely held in by Louis Sweeney. Sweeney centering pass looking for Mason Thang. That's just out of reach. Thang takes a spill along the boards, and Quebec tried to send it up the neutral zone, but failing to do so. Louis Sweeney fires back in for Minnesota with 3:35 left in period 1 in our opening game of day 2 action. Good reach there, but Zach Silva still maintains possession. Played in front! Oh my goodness, what a save by Sheldon Lonval. And that is a big-time save from the Quebec netminder to keep this a 1-0 deficit. One of his best saves of the tournament. Face off to the left of Lonval. It is won by Quebec. Played up the wing. As they look to enter the zone with possession, it's Blake Labb for Quebec. Centered out in front. Brick will redirect that one with the stick. Looks like Soyo Igarashi took a spill, and now he has a chance to shoot. Now for Labb, who shoots. Brick kicks that one away with the right pad. 3 to go in period 1. Quebec turning on the pressure. Here late in the period, Quebec player hauled down in the corner, and a penalty coming yet again to Minnesota. And the Evans lying right on the ice, and hooking call coming up. And is that Easton Silver again? Yes, it is. Easton Silva on the hook, and back to the power play goes Quebec with 2:52 remaining in period number 1. The face-off, won and controlled by Quebec. They went quiet on their first power play. Let's see if they can get a goal here. Shot on net, that one denied by Brick. Cutting through the middle with speed, Zach Silva. Looking to avenge his brother, perhaps, and score a shorty. Quebec trying to move it out of the zone, having a hard time doing so as Raphael LeBlanc coffeed up the puck. Here's an opportunity, a shot on net, and Lonval the save. A good shot. That was, I believe, Harrison Guth. Indeed it was, who took the shot, and an even better stop by Lonval. Now centered through the middle, and Igarashi stick sent flying in the air. And set back down the ice by Minnesota. 2 minutes to go in the period, 1:05 remaining in the penalty to Easton Silva. Blowing a tire at center is Leo Pelche, who's slow to get up. Pelche lost his stick, and Minnesota going to attack the other way. Sent back into the zone by Harrison Guth. Off the boards comes Quebec. 40 seconds left in the Minnesota penalty. Here they come across the line. It's a good opportunity for them to get set up, but coughed up and sent down the ice. Fired back into the zone, picked up by Raphael Levy. Cannot get it up the ice, and again, Quebec's power play continuing to struggle here. Fired back into the zone as Lonval out of his net here in the final minute. Quebec's power play going to go 0 for 2 as we go back to full strength. Sent up the right-hand side. The Quebec Hockey Club enters the zone on the right wing. Pass to the middle, sent on goal. And making the save there will be the netminder, Tanner Brick. .41.8 left on the clock here in period 1. Still a 1-0 Minnesota lead. Here's a shot. That one just fired wide. Along the wall, here comes Minnesota with 30 seconds left in the period. Up the wing, it's Maverick White trying to go in on goal. Great diving play by Raphael LeVay. And everybody stopped skating. And it sounds like a whistle went off, but neither of the officials blew a whistle. Everyone stopped skating, and I thought I heard a whistle as well, but no signal from any of the officials, so bit of confusion here. But play gets back underway. Victor Pelland dropping it off for his man, and first penalty of the game coming up against Quebec. This looks like a slashing call is about to come at the end of the period, but Minnesota looking to score before the buzzer. Shot on goal, kicked away by Lonval. And not only does that bring an end to period one, the Quebec Hockey Club will enter the second period on the penalty kill with a slash at the end. And we end period number one in a 1-0 score in favor of Minnesota here at day two of the Continental Clash. Back here in Montreal as we get ready for period number two. Quebec will start the period shorthanded for the first time today as Minnesota gets its first power play of the morning. And puck is down for period two. Minnesota starting this period on the power play. They will start with a quick transition. Here's Charles Kelly. Kelly around the back of the net. Still holding it to the line, and Maverick White not able to hold it in. White being hunted down here, but maintains possession. Up the wing for Mason Thang. Thang skates it in for Minnesota. Thang trying to weed the defense. In on goal, Lonval kicks that one away. Good save there by Sheldon Lonval, and Quebec will support him by getting it out. But they'll have to reset quickly. It's Maverick White the other way. Parker Kelly, nice move. Kelly walks in, fires. Lonval the save. Minute gone in the power play. Parker Kelly, or Charles Kelly, excuse me, along the half wall, getting it down low. On the back of the net it goes, back to the line. It's White. White will let it fly. Lonval the save, the rebound. Still loose, but the official blows the play dead. Lonval made the save, but official losing side of the puck as it looked like Lonval had it for a second, but then it dropped underneath him, and by the time the whistle blew, it was too late. But Minnesota with great pressure on this power play, which has 45 seconds left. And fired off the boards and out by Anthony Gomatos. Louis Sweeney drops it behind his back. Now Mason Thang wheeling into the zone with great speed. Thang in towards the goal. Lonval with a good save there. Battle behind the net with 15 seconds left in the Minnesota power play. To the line, it's Sweeney. He'll let it fly. Blocked in front by Raphael LeBlanc. 10 seconds left in the man advantage. One last chance for Minnesota here. Back to the line. Sweeney lets it fly through a crowd. Nice save by Lonval. And the Minnesota inaugural power play goes quiet. Despite having a couple great chances, they are 0 for 1. Turnover in front. They score! Anthony Gamatos! And the Quebec Hockey Club have tied it at 1. What a play by Anthony Gamatos to pick up that puck after the penalty kill and then brought it up towards the goal, and he wires it past Tanner Brick. And we are tied at 1. Brought into the zone by Decker Benjamin. Minnesota looking to answer right back. Around the back of the net, they get set up. Benjamin cycled in front, but lost a handle on it. Weaving in again is Benjamin. Takes a tumble. Puck goes into the corner. Around the back of the net, Quebec looking to clear it out of the zone. 1-1 tie on Anthony Gamatos' goal. Battle for the puck in the corner. Official tells them to move. A lot of leeway from the official as the puck's still hemmed in. And now it does score free. Decker Benjamin. Lost it behind the goal to Leo Peltier. 3 minutes gone in the period, and Quebec has tied it at 1. Ali Spytai taking a shot from the bottom of the circle, kicked away by Brick. Teddy Becker. Bad pass picked off by Spytai and rocked into the boards. And a penalty upcoming. Ali Spytai took a hit. Teddy Becker will get the body contact penalty. And back to the power play will go Quebec. .11:41 left in period 2. Charles Kelly for Minnesota. And Anthony Gamatos for Quebec. Face off to the right of Brick to start Quebec's third power play there. 0 for 2 in that department. And cleared out of the zone by the Machine, who have been working like a machine on this penalty kill. Out of the net comes Lonval. Trying to play it up the wing there was Victor Pellin, but couldn't. Lonval again out of his net. Look out, fires it off of the body of his teammate Ethan Lockhart. Minnesota here on the penalty kill with strong setup, and wisely Charles Kelly will play it back. Sturgeon across now for Sweeney, butting hook in at the blue line. Played up the right-hand side. Kelly again turns around at center. This Minnesota penalty kill has been very, very strong. Almost no scoring chances allowed. Good pickoff play in there on side. Brought in. Shot comes! Brick the save and the rebound. Safely cleared, but not out. Now they will get it out. There's Kelly who gets tripped up. And a penalty coming to Quebec. And that'll even things up for 42 seconds as Charles Kelly kept his feet moving and he draws the penalty to Ethan Lockhart. And that will even things up for 42. And a faceoff will come to the left of Lonval. Faceoff won by the Machine, but they can't hold it in. Quebec player falls down. That was Soya Rigarashi. Zach Silva up now for Mason Thane, who walks through. Thane in towards the goal. Lonval the save. Big juicy rebound, but unable to tuck it home is Zachary Silva. And a penalty coming to Lonval, who unwisely took down Silva. There's been a few instances where Lonval has done that in the game, but this time he finally gets caught. And that one's not going to make the Quebec coach happy. Lonval's been doing that a lot in this game, and now he finally gets caught. So someone will have to serve the Lonval penalty. This will be a 4-on-3 for 17 seconds, and then it's going to quickly turn into a 5-on-3. So not only does Quebec's power play go 0 for 3, they're now going to be in a two-man disadvantage in 15 seconds. Already down by one, about to be two players. They dig in the corner, and a Quebec player takes a nasty hit, and surprised that one is going to let go to the wayside. Play carries on, and play going to be whistled down. Bit of an edge early on as Soya Igarashi gets a verbal warning. Minute 15 left to go in the Quebec two-man disadvantage. And the face-off won by the machine. At the line, it's White. Nice pivot by Guthrie, gets back to the line. White the shot, the save by Lonval. The rebound is scooped up. And look out here, a little bit of tension at the end of the play. Thiago Flores popped to his feet and didn't like the battle in front, but nothing more will come from there. The official trying to get composure here of this game, which is not even halfway through regulation. Sweeney walks, fires, Lonval the save, and cleared down the ice. Picked up by Maverick White with 50 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Minnesota 0 for 1 on the power play so far. Brought up the win by Benjamin. Benjamin around the boards. Now it's Charles Kelly. Kelly to the right wall. Guth with a move at the line, but poked off of his stick by the Quebec defense. That was Blake Glab with the good poke check. 20 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Nice drop pass by Louis Sweeney. Long range shot coming, save, rebound off the post. Puck still loose. Where is it? Puck loose again, they score! Charles Kelly again! On a mad scramble, Charles Kelly doubles down. And Minnesota strikes on the power play for the first time. They're back in front this time by a 2-1 score. They got one power play goal. Can they make it a second one? Played up the wing. Here goes Mace Weddebrand. Weddebrand around the back of the net to the line for Hellquist. Across, it's Braden Liu. Score! Braden Liu! The Machine are firing on all cylinders. Back-to-back power play markers and their first multi-goal lead of the morning. Boy, that power play and penalty kill sure are special. Fired off the boards by Quebec, who now find themselves in a 2-goal hole. And again, penalties coming back to haunt Quebec. And here comes Mason Thane in towards the goal. Great save by Lonval. 7:48 to go, and the net, I believe, might have been dislodged, or no. Looks like neck guard came undone, so play brought to a halt. Charles Kelly with his second of the game on the power play, and Braden Liu also on the man advantage. And it's 3-1 Minnesota. Face out to the right of Lonval, quickly controlled by Minnesota, but not for long. Nice hold at the line by Seeger Patton. Shovel towards the net. The puck's loose in front, deflected. Just wide of the goal. Halfway through regulation. Here's Seeger Patton in front, diving play. And now a player taken down in front, and that one goes on call. And now Lonval with a shot to the goalie, and they both getting into it, and Lonval again taken down. Meanwhile, the other way came Quebec, and now Minnesota's going to counter. Here's Seeger Patton in. Patton's in! And he cannot tuck it in. And a shot from Lonval after the whistle. And things are getting out of control here in Quebec. Lonval took a shot at one of the Minnesota players, and now he is down. As we're more than halfway through regulation, we're going to have a goaltending change for Minnesota. And tensions are high this morning. Lonval is still down, and the coaching staff's going to come and check on Lonval. So Asta Olsted-Volk is now in net for Minnesota. So it looks like they are balancing the goaltending. And a penalty is on the board for Minnesota. There is a penalty for Quebec. And again, tensions are really high here, not only on the ice, but in the stands. Well, not much more you can say, but the tension's very high here halfway through regulation. And officials trying to do everything they can to maintain order here early. And you don't like to see this stuff, especially this early. And hopefully cooler heads prevail. So Lonval is going to stay in goal. One player off per side. And hopefully that is the end of that. And we carry on. Here comes Quebec trying to clear it up, but they can't. Ethan Lockhart tried to play it up the wing. Minnesota back on the attack. Here's a shot. That one just missing the net wide. Balfour along the half wall, held in by Sweeney. Here's a chance for Minnesota. Shot on goal. Nice save, Lonval. The rebound still loose. And that one is stopped and handed on to by Lonval. .6:32 left in what has been an intense affair to kick off day two. Still 3-1 Minnesota, who scored twice on the same 5-on-3. Here's an opportunity. That one turned away. Long range shot. That one just missing the net wide. Loose on the side. Lonval able to kick that one away. On the back of the net, spinning shot. That one just fired wide. They continue to battle. Here's Mason Thane out in front. Not able to cycle it to the correct colored jersey. Quebec the other way. Across the line they come. On the back of the net, picked up by Mason Thane on a pickoff play. Cycled in front. Almost finding Ali Spytie in front. Quebec trying to answer back after allowing 2 power play goals against. 6 minutes to go in the second. Again, Asa Ulstead-Volk now in net for Minnesota. This looks like they are sharing the crease in each game, which is great to see. Conserve energy. Zach Silva. Silva with a nice move into the zone. Fires off the side of the net. And the puck is loose, and the official will blow play dead. Face off to the right of Lonval, who has been seeing a lot of shots in this game. And the face-off won by Minnesota. Quick shot off the draw. It's blocked. Still loose in front, and Quebec clears it away. Up the left wing. Quebec just able to clear the line, courtesy of Victor Pelland. Minnesota brings it back across the line. Sweeney centering pass. Beautiful move in towards the goal. Was Decker Benjamin, but couldn't finish it off. The other way comes Quebec. Across the line, it's Pelland. Victor Pelland with 5 to go in the period. To the line, long range pass. Picked up. And Minnesota unable to clear the zone. It's Jaden Mousset. Mousset falls down and turns it over. Minnesota looking to clear. Louis Sweeney. Sweeney will fire it in and complete a change for Minnesota. Behind the net, nice move there by Lockhart to free up some room, but he almost turned it over. He has turned it over. Centering pass. Mace Wetterbrand had an opening but couldn't fire it. Brought down the other way. Here comes Quebec the other way. Up the board, shot coming. That one just missing, and a penalty is upcoming, and it's going to be against Minnesota. And yet again, tensions boiling over. And I hate to be that guy, but we might need to get someone up here because it is not pretty. And it is really not pretty up here. Meanwhile, playback underway as Quebec is now on the power play. Quebec is currently 0 for 3. Long range shot, that one deflected by a high stick, and Quebec will touch it, and that's going to bring play to a stop. 3:47 left in the second period. And 1:42 left in the Minnesota penalty. Face off outside the blue line. It is won by Minnesota. Fired back into the zone. So behind the net is Quebec looking to get reset on this power play, but they turn it over. Mason Thane in towards the net. Fires denied by Lonval, and another penalty is coming. This time it is going to be against Quebec. It's true. So 4-on-4 for the next minute 25 with a face-off to the right of Lonval. the face-off won by Minnesota, just able to hold the zone. Back to the line, it's Sweeney. His shot just ends up going wide of the cage. Louis Sweeney. Mason Thang. Thang coming in towards the net. That one broken up by the Quebec defenders and thrown back to center. Keep in mind, 4-on-4 of the next 55. Louis Sweeney dumping it back behind the net. 45 seconds left in the 4-on-4, and then Minnesota's going to get a power play, which means Quebec is 0 for 4 in that regard. Mason Thang into the zone with a nice move. Thang is in on towards the net. Powers to the forehand. He scores! Mason Thang! And it is a Thang of beauty for Mason Thang. Make it 4-1 Minnesota. And Minnesota pats on to their lead. That is now 3 unanswered from the machine. Braden Liu, who scored earlier in this period, picked up by Quebec and cleared the distance. Not going to be icing. Minnesota's about to head to a partial power play, which now officially kicks in. They scored on their last 2 power play opportunities. They're currently 2 for 3 in that regard. Decker Benjamin gets it his way in. Nice pass out in front. Lonval the save. The rebound on the backhand also thrown towards the net, and Lonval has that one too. "20 seconds left in the Minnesota power play in a eventful second period. Backhand failing to clear there was the Quebec defender Ali Spytime. Nope, pardon me, Albert Beauregard, my apologies. Steger Patton can't make the play, now cycled in on a nice move by Hellquist. At the end of the power play, his shot deflecting just wide. Power play now 2 for 4 for Minnesota. Powered in as Easton Silva on his off foot. Shot that one just wide. Go back to the line. Whacked back in by Hellquist. Minute 10 left in the period. And Lonval with another shot to the head. And I am really surprised they are letting that one go. And now a player's taking a shot off the knee and is hurt. And they will both play dead. And Lonval again taking a swipe. And an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for Decker Benjamin. Meanwhile, there's a player down for Quebec. Well, in a tense moment in the game, you hate to see when there's an injury. But coming back to his feet is Jaden Mousset. And I think the officials are going to go over and talk to both benches. Very, very tense moments here in Montreal. And a penalty on the board for Minnesota on a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which will send the Quebec Hockey Club back to the power play. Playback underway as Quebec on the man advantage for the 5th time today. Tied up behind the net, Victor Pellin sets it up in front. Here's a shot. Great save by Ulstad Volk. Back to the line, and Quebec cannot hold in. Quebec trying to re-enter the zone. White lost the handle on it. White with a good strip play. Picked up now by Charles Kelly, who will send it the distance. Ron Vol hesitating to make a play. He'll wisely drop it and sailed out of the zone. And we got another penalty coming in, and this one's going to come at the end of the period. So with 0.7 left, that will make it a 4-on-4 penalty coming up against Quebec. Again, the officials trying to restore order here. Quebec is now 0 for 5. They'll just drop the puck to end the period. And that will officially do it. Well, fair share of entertainment here in the second period, as Minnesota adding 2 power play goals, and it is a 4-1 Machine lead after 2 periods of play.
We don't do it for the name that's on the back. We just do it for the logo on the front. All that clout chasing, we don't run with that. We just put the whole squad on the hunt. Yeah, we bleed for the shield, never for the self. True success ain't the trophy on the shelf. It's the logo on the front, not the name on the back. Yeah, we stay on attack.
Welcome back to the Friends and Family Tournament here in beautiful Montreal. 4-1 lead for Minnesota as we skate to 4-on-4 for the next minute and 4. And third period is underway as Quebec with an early shot. That one just missing the net wide. Out of the corner. Quebec trying to cycle in front, but Minnesota once again picking it up. Pushed up by Harrison Guff. Guff in towards the offensive zone, shoots and scores! Harrison Guff, 5-1 Minnesota. "27 seconds into the period. And another penalty handed out. Another penalty for Quebec. This is Raphael Levaille, who's just been sent. So it looks like an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that will affect and make it a 4-on-3 power play for Minnesota. So it's now a 4-on-3 power play for the Minnesota Machine after they've just made it 5-1. Pass up the left wing. This is Teddy Becker. Becker, unable to enter the zone, now has a chance to do so. They tie up along the boards. Puck squirts free. Brought across the line, but the official will rule this offside. Harrison Guff making it 5-1 for Minnesota just mere moments ago. The face-off won by Minnesota. They control. It's Teddy Becker. And again, keep in mind, if it becomes a 5-goal lead, play will continue on. Going to the line, nicely held in by Ryan Renner. It's now a 5-on-3. Dancing in with a beautiful move there is Steger Patton, but couldn't finish it off on the backhand. And sent down the ice by the Quebec penalty kill. Minnesota holding it behind the net now. Teddy Becker on the right wing. Becker skates in. Becker avoiding contact there. Down the boards it'll go. This is Steger Patton. 15 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Comes to the side. Minnesota looking to the point, but picked off and cleared by Soyo Igarashi. Here he comes now the other way, shorthanded. It's Igarashi and towards the net, off the crossbar. And out of play. A great look for Soyo Igarashi while down 2 men, but rings the iron up and out. 3 seconds left in the 5-on-3. And one of the Minnesota players heading to the dressing room. Play carrying back on, though. Here's Mason Thane, powering to the net on the backhand. Denied by Lonval. Back to the line. Maverick White can't quite hold it in. First power play done. Now 10 more seconds of 5-on-4 to work with. Around the back of the net it goes. Back over. Across. In comes Mason Thane. He'll shoot. Lonval the save. Picked up now by Raphael LeBlanc. Can't quite clear it. Power play's done. Minnesota missing on 3 straight chances. Battle in front. Backhand try. They score. Harrison Guff has another one. And it's 6-1. Have a day, Harrison Guff. And with it being a 5-goal lead, the clock should revert now to running time. But it's now a 6-1 Minnesota lead. Harrison Guff with a pair here today, and now Eli Helquist looking to get in on the scoring. Minnesota player taken down in front of the net. Now it's going to be pushed out here by Quebec. Coming across the line, Raphael Levaille. Levaille trying to walk in, couldn't pull the trigger. Now it's Zach Silva. Here comes Minnesota again. Easton Silva. Or pardon me, that's Mace Wedderburn, my apologies. Power towards the net, but couldn't take the shot. Now back to the line, winding up and firing is Braden Liu. His shot nicely deflected, but just went wide of the net. Kick free by Quebec. Play to the line. And play going to be whistled down here. Looks like might have been offside. And they are going to signal the running time as we expected, with it being a 5-goal lead. So time will continue to run off the clock. If the difference is reduced to 3 goals or less, the clock will revert back to stoppage time. On it now, Teddy Becker. Becker sends it down low. Seeger Patton. Or, pardon me, Matt White walking in, and he will shoot that one off the side of the net. Another chance for Minnesota walking in. Backhand try. Stopped by Lonval. And the rebound moved out by Quebec. Across the line with power there was Leo Pelche, but lost the puck. Thrown across for Soyo Igarashi. Igarashi around the corner trying to get away from Ryan Renner. Igarashi, nice pass to the point, but picked off and moved out by Charles Kelly. Kelly with a pair in the game, looking for the hat trick. Kelly in, gets hooked, and a penalty is coming to Quebec. Kelly, sharp angle try, and he scores! Hats off to you, Charles Kelly. The hat trick makes it 7-1. On a delayed penalty, nonetheless, he was held up, but he wasn't stopped from scoring. Charles Kelly's got his third of the morning. And Minnesota will continue to add to their lead here in running time, 7-1 with 9:40 to go in the third period. Back at his own line, Blake Lab. This one pushed up the wing. Picked up now by Mason Thang to the left side. Easton Silva. For Thang. Thang walking in, firing, just missing. Back to the line, it's Brandon Liu with a seeing eye shot. That one blocked in front. Puck's up for grabs, comes down on a good play by Easton Silva. Just under 9 to go in the third period. 6-1, or pardon me, 7-1 Minnesota. As Charles Kelly completing the hat trick. Nice play at the line here by Mason Thane to create some room. Thane has got a lot of room, shoots it towards the net. That one blocked by a Quebec defender. Ali Spatai sending it up the middle. Liu. Sent through the middle, picked up now by Zach Silva. 2-on-2, come the machine. Silva weaving into the slot, taking a shot, deflecting. Up and out of play. 8:10 left to go in the third. 7-1 Minnesota. They opened the scoring, then allowed the game-tying goal. Since then, the machine have taken over with 6 unanswered. 3 of those goals belonging to Charles Kelly. And if I'm not mistaken, our first time seeing a hat trick on this rink so far. Had a handful of 2 goal scorers in yesterday's action, but our first instance seemingly of a hat trick. .735 left. Teddy Becker gets around the defender. Becker's in. Becker from the slot. Nice shot on goal. And a good glove save by Sheldon Lonval. Face off to the left of Lonval. And it looks like the net was dislodged, but the official puts it back. 7 to go in period 3. Nice face-off win by Charles Kelly, who's got the hot hand here today. They'll look to carry that one over into their next game later on today. Picked up now by Victor Pelland. They're going to clear for Quebec, and does. He'll get it as far as the Minnesota blue line. All the way back through the middle. Beauregard for Pelland. Pelland fires it in towards goal. That's Ulstad Volk, who came in relief halfway through, and the official losing sight of the puck, but will not affect the play clock either way. But this will be a face-off to the right of Ulstad Volk, who should mention, by the way, in the first game of the tournament was quite special against the Manitoba All-Stars. He really shut the door in the second half of the game. Hasn't seen too much here since coming in, but still a really solid presence in net for Minnesota. On the back of the net goes Mason Fang. Wraparound try. Good hand stop made there by Alon Val. 5.5 to go. Pass comes in the middle. Teddy Becker couldn't shoot. Up into the corner. Blake Lab for Quebec. Wrapping around the boards. Raphael LeBlanc just able to play it out for QHC. Around the boards, Ryan Renner. Played up the middle as Harrison Guff, also with 2 goals in the game. Now weaving through the middle, nice move by Mason Pang, but could not finish it on the forehand. Pass comes in front as it's played to the blue line and nicely held in there by Louis Sweeney. Up the wing comes Soya Rigarashi with under 5 to go in this entertaining affair. Brought across the line, but Quebec on a delayed offside will have to leave it. Flipped in here by Blake Lab, but it's blocked by Mace Wedderbrand. Wedderbrand behind the net, but picked up by Blake Lab, who throws it off the boards. Battle for possession deep in Quebec territory. Picked up by the Machine. Here's a high shot and a really nice glove save there by Lon Val, who will hold on for a face-off. That shot coming from Zach Silva. 3:55 to go in the third. Still 7-1 Minnesota. They will officially go 3-0. And they will be back in action later on today. They'll take on the very impressive Everest Elite program on Rink 3. Right back into the Minnesota zone as Machine will move it up yet again. They've had great transition game here today. Eli Helquist trying to dance in, blows a tire. And Quebec looking to transition. Mace Wedderbrand can't maintain possession. From the line, Anthony Gomatos unable to shoot. And penalty upcoming to Minnesota with 3 minutes to go in the third. As hooking will be the signal, and it's going to be Easton Silva. Less than 3 to go. And Minnesota will be on the penalty kill. 6 power play for Quebec, which will basically factor in for most of the rest of the period. And the face-off won by the Machine. Louis Sweeney can't clear the zone, but able to is Teddy Becker. Around the back of the net goes Albert Beauregard. Return pass, Pelland. Played up the wing. Sent back up on the backhand by Teddy Becker after the nice timing play by Charles Kelly with 3 on the morning. Nice play there behind the net by the Quebec attacker, but now Charles Kelly on a turnover walking in. Kelly, backhand, stopped by Lonval, and he has the rebound. Minute 45 left to go in this one. Minute 16 left on the penalty to Easton Silva. Next game coming up, the East Coast Kings taking on the Manitoba All-Stars. That puck drop set for 9:30 here from Rink 1 at the Pierrefonds Sportsplex. Louis Sweeney winds up, fires, didn't connect. Mason Fang fights off the defender. Fang with great stick handling here. He's been showing off those hands all game long. All tournament long for that. Back behind the net with 1 minute left to go in this one, as Minnesota will remain undefeated, while Quebec will go to 1 and 2 on the tourney. Fired back to the line, Steger Patton. Able to hold it in, but coughed it up. But nice play at the line there by Maverick White. 40 seconds left to go. Pass to the middle, picked off by Sweeney. Here goes Louis Sweeney into the zone. Sweeney waits, shoots, deflected just wide. That was a good block by Anthony Bergeron. Here goes Quebec. LeBlanc can't enter the zone with the puck. 20 seconds left. And the remaining bit of the Quebec power play is going to tick off the clock with 10 seconds left. Back to 5-on-5. A dominating performance from the Minnesota Machine, and the orange and black remains undefeated. One last save for Lonval. And the Minnesota Machine handled the Quebec Hockey Club by a 7-1 final, and they go 3-0 on the tournament. Real nice finish to this one, as Cooler Heads seemed to prevail in the third period, thankfully. And next up, you'll hear the American National Anthem for the winning club, the Minnesota Machine. Minnesota back in action. As I mentioned, later on today, they will take on the Everest Elite. That should be a really good game. While the Quebec Hockey Club, not long to rest, they'll take on Toronto Hockey at 2 o'clock here on rank number 1. And it looks like they will, I think, do without the national anthem, as they just want to get this one done. But that will do it for our Game 1 coverage here in Montreal. We'll step out for a break, and when we come back, Game 2 of our Day 2 coverage. Coming up next, it's the East Coast Kings and the Manitoba All-Stars. You're watching Day 2 coverage of the 2026 Continental Clash here on the World Sports Broadcast Network.
I'm Dr. Cassie Preston. My job as a mental performance coach is to help elite athletes just like you to consistently perform at your capabilities. But in order to do that, you need to reliably get in the zone. The problem is, like most athletes, you spend too much time in your own head, worrying, overthinking, and are doubting yourself. This can be frustrating and discouraging because you've put in all this work to develop your physical abilities. Your mindset is causing you to underperform. Now, I understand that working on your mindset can be difficult and confusing. There's so much cliche advice out there like, don't worry about it and just be positive, which might be the mental states you want to achieve, but it's not the how-to. In fact, this fluffy cookie cutter advice often makes things worse. Instead, what you need to do is challenge the status quo and think differently about success and failure. That's why I wrote the best-selling book, Mindset First, to provide athletes like you a repeat and reliable way to win the mental game. I share the concise and practical strategies I use to help professional athletes be at their best day in and day out. This book will help you break free from the weight of results so you can stop spending so much time in your own head and start playing with confidence so you can perform when it matters most. And most importantly, I promise you this, by reading this book and working on your mental game, you're going to have a heck of a lot more fun along the way.